For years now, ever since Wakanda Forever introduced Riri Williams and Ironheart, the actual show, wrapped filming back in 2022, I honestly thought the show would flop. The delay felt like a death sentence. Too little, too late. But after watching it, I'm glad to say I was wrong. So let's talk about it. Ironheart premiered on Disney Plus on June 24, 2025, with 3 episodes dropping up front. By the time you're watching this video, the full season should be out. The series picks up 2 years after the events of Wakanda Forever, and it follows Riri as she returns home to Chicago. Riri is expelled from MIT and heads back to Chicago, only to realize her suit is dead. She foolishly tied it to her student account. While trying to fix it, she crosses paths with a crew of tech-powered criminals led by Parker Robbins, aka the Hood. After a rough job, Parker finds his tech guy, Rampage, played by Eric Andre, and conveniently, he finds out about Riri. Riri gets a hookup through Parker's associate and lands at a bizarre job interview, where she's tested by escaping an exploding elevator. She passes and starts repairing her suit, with the help of a calorie tech smuggler named Joe, who turns out to be Ezekiel Stane, son of Obadiah Stane from the first Iron Man movie. Meanwhile, Riri creates a new AI and is based on Natalie, her childhood friend who died tragically. She tries to keep an emotional distance, but still uses Natalie to help with her suit repairs. The next job goes south inside a high security building. Riri can't use her suit, so she builds a biometric-based weapon and tries to secretly analyze Parker's magical hood. When one of Parker's guys finds out, things turn deadly. Riri barely escapes, but not without panic and guilt. She accidentally causes someone's death. Later, Parker senses Riri's betrayal, and the tension builds. Parker gives a eulogy for his fallen teammate, but quietly starts planning revenge. Riri's biometric weapon was left behind and was found by the cops, and it led back to Ezekiel, putting him in jail. Riri and Natalie analyze a piece of the hood, but it's too ancient and dangerous. With Riri's mom's help, they visit a missing shop ran by Zelma and her mother, former sorcerer dropouts, who confirm that the hood is tied to dark magic, specifically Dormammu, or so we think. After so many failed attempts to destroy the piece of the hood by science, Riri nearly breaks down, but Natalie calls in her brother Xavier, which leads to an emotional reveal. The AI really is Natalie, but Xavier takes it how you think. Meanwhile, Parker breaks Ezekiel out of jail to finish the job. Ezekiel enhances himself with biometrics, but unbeknownst to him, the biometrics are controlled by Parker. Parker sends out his crew to kill Riri, but she manages to beat them all. However, her suit was beyond repair thanks to Ezekiel, but he lets her live, long enough for her to get out of town. Riri, expecting a final battle, builds a new suit using her rebuilt car from Wakanda Forever, now enhanced with magic thanks to Zelma. Clown, a member of Parker's crew, calls out Parker over Rampage's fate, and Parker fires the whole crew. He reveals his control of Ezekiel's biometrics and seizes control of his disowned father's mansion and assets. As Riri finishes her new armor, the magical fusion comes with a price. She loses Natalie, again. We finally get to Parker's origins. He made a deal with a demon, not Dormammu, but someone worse. Riri heads out to the retreated hood and runs to Ezekiel. They fight, but she breaks Parker's hold on him. Ezekiel lets her go, but he makes it clear that they're not finished.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass.
Riri battles Parker in an explosive showdown and wins, taking the hood. But she is immediately confronted by the demon, not Dormammu, but Mephisto himself. He offers Riri a deal. Shockingly, she accepts. The season ends with Natalie being resurrected, but Riri's arm begins to show dark magical corruption. The cost of Mephisto's deal is only just the beginning. Now, this show started out good with the first 3 episodes. However, it ran out of steam in the last 3 episodes. So the show went from good to decent. Now, what I can give for the finale is that I did not see that twist coming, to where Riri will sell her soul to a demon. Now, I've seen a lot of hate in the series, and I can explain that. We have seen so much of the pandering agenda so much that that's all we're willing to see within a product. Post Endgame, that is. I, for one, in the past fell for it. However, I, in my opinion, cannot say that this show is bad because of the pandering agenda. Why can't a show be bad because it's bad? And it is also bad in some opinions because I've heard so many sources that Riri in the comments is not likable. So they already knew that they're not going to like it due to the dislike of Riri. To me, Riri did not bother me, but I do have some thoughts, but I will speak on Riri in a bit. But I'm just giving you the breakdown of what everybody thinks. Me, on the other hand, I don't think the show's bad, but it's just decent. The three main cast members that show the focus on were Riri, Natalie, and Parker. I'll start with Natalie. Natalie died during a shootout, which also killed Riri's dad. Riri accidentally manifested Natalie into her AI. Now, the AI of Natalie talks and moves like the real Natalie. However, the question still rose on whether or not Natalie is real, due to Riri and Xavier freaking out. Now, I admit she was annoying, but her being cute made up for it. I know it sounds silly, but hey, it's my opinion. Now, even though Natalie was an AI, she did go through an identity crisis since she reminded by Riri that Natalie is a glitch of numbers and code. When she was AI, she did have peak intelligence and helped out Riri when she was at a jam. Natalie did have PTSD and trauma from which she was shot and killed, hence the glitching when the cop pulled a gun on her and Riri, which was only explored once. At the end, the AI was traded for Riri to have magic in her new suit, and the real Natalie was brought back to life. And it looks as though the real Natalie has no recollection of the events leading up to now. And exactly what does that mean? Like, how will all this play out in another season, or if there will be a follow up to the series or with the movie? Will everyone around Natalie except Riri know what happened? The only comic explanation I found out was in the most controversial Spider Man story of all time, Spider Man One More Day. Long story short, Mephisto rewrote time and space to where Mary Jane and Spider Man's marriage was erased. So this could be the case for Natalie, but we will all just have to wait and find out. Parker was just a kid that was abandoned by his father many years ago. Once he was found by John, the associate that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, he was the only real family he had, and the team that he recently fired. He gained his powers from the hood, and it's corrupted him to the point where he was not above murder. Mephisto was quite intrigued by Parker, but once the show progressed, that no longer seemed to be the case. He wanted to be king of all wealth and power, and used the hood to do it. However, in my opinion, I do think Mephisto was disappointed in Parker because Parker was kind of thinking too small for Mephisto, in my opinion. As Parker's descent into darkness with his final battle with Riri, you can see him turning into some sort of demon. Well, not human. At the end, he still had the corruption of the deal that's killing him. What's in store for Parker going forward? He wants more magic since he lost his hood to get back on top, or to exact revenge on Mephisto or Riri, or both. We just have to stay tuned to find out. Riri up into the series was just a hustler who built a vibranium detector and fought a bunch of mutants in Wakanda Forever. Now I can say we do get more in depth with her character. Many years after Wakanda Forever, she was using all her grant money to build another suit, which did her no good after she was expelled. For the entirety of the show, she wanted to build iron suits because she could. Well, that's what she told people. Her mother knew that it was BS. The real reason was revealed so that she could protect her loved ones. Many years ago, she lost her father and Natalie. So in the series, she done questionable things to ensure that none of her loved ones will be hurt ever again, which kind of parallels to Tony. But it took Tony longer to get there rather than Riri. So in the series, she kept doing jobs with Parker and the gang. Wait, let me double back a second. So she was taken against her will and had to fight a war with underwater mutants to help save Wakanda and possibly the world. She did all that, almost dying, and after everything was said and done, Shuri just tell her like, oh, your armor is impressive, but I can't let you take it out of here. But I can rebuild your car though. Okay, that's cool and all to rebuild the car, but why in the hell did y'all not give her some money? Because let me tell you what happened if they would have gave her some money. She would have built like mini suits of armor. Then she would have went out saving people other than protecting her loved ones. And she probably would have ran into Parker and his gang to fight them and put them in jail. But that's just glorified fan fiction on my part. I just thought I'd just add that little tidbit side note in there. So let's continue. So as she was doing jobs with Parker and the gang, she finds out that Rampage was killed by Parker. So she had to find a way out. Once she defeated Parker and took his hood, she met with Mephisto and was offered a deal. And we, as the audience, thought she was going to tell him to shove it where the sun don't shine. But what happened in the final moments of the finale and the conversation between her and Mephisto should have been a dead giveaway that she took the deal. So what does that mean going forward? I might make a second video on Mephisto himself, so stay tuned for that. So I hate to say it, but this is not Riri's origin story of being a hero, but the tragedy of Riri Williams. Now, I had a question of whether or not Riri was blip away, but in her interview, the actress Dominique Thorne said that she probably wasn't blip. But be that as it may, people who were left behind from the people who were blipped away were only kind of gone. Riri dealt with real loss with the death of her father and Natalie. I didn't think that she had to grieve because she buried herself in her work to make suits that would protect the people around her. That's cool and all, but all her actions show that she has not handled loss the way she's supposed to. Her subconsciousness when she made Natalie is a manifestation of Riri's underlying guilt of losing her. Never actually saying goodbye or make amends with a friend before they can die can take a toll on you. I know the feeling. So I understand on why she took the deal, but this could have heavy ramifications in the coming potential saga once the current one concludes. Ironheart had mixed reviews from critics and comic fans alike, but I for one was surprised by this show. It's a decent show, but will I watch it again? Probably not anytime soon. The events leading up to the end aren't forgettable like other shows once you watch it once. So what do you guys think of Ironheart if you already seen it? Let me know in the comments below. Well, that's all for now. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll catch you all next time.